So I'll be continued to talk about how to install the NGA code in the ASU Sol cluster. So last time in the last video, I showed how to install the prerequisites. So I installed the first one. So this takes about at least less than an hour. So if I go back to my terminal, you should be able to see this installation successful message. Okay. Then and you have to make sure if the installation is really successful. I mean, the message said it's successful, you actually need to check. So you don't check this directory where you have this the zip file. So and how do where should I check? So you want to look at this build configure sh. Then what this file tells you, colon N1. Then the library will be installed here, your home directory and builds. And under that, you have GNU. So let's check. So go to your home directory, and what do I have? So I have builds, user auto completion by pressing tab, and I have GNU. And you can see that I have this FFTW, LAPACK, and all kinds of the other libraries. Okay, and if you look at them, you should be able to see this include and lib library, depending on the libraries you are interested in installing. Okay, so let's go back to my home directory. So this is my home directory. Then I think last time some of the things didn't work, including the module loading. So like I explained in the last video, when you compile a code, you often load the module. Then you want to make it, you don't want to type everything manually. So here I create the scripts. So let's go into this folder scripts that I created. Go into that folder, and I have another directory codes. So here I create this nga.sh file. So this code will be executed. So the first line tells you that this is a bash script, and I remove all the existing modules, all the modules that are already loaded. Then I'm loading this GCC and OpenMPI. Okay, so let's exit. So last time I was trying to execute, then I realized I actually need to source this thing. So what do I mean by this? Module list. Okay, in this case, I do have modules. So let me purge first, just to demonstrate. So if I purge, then I don't have any modules anymore. So when you want to execute, when you want to do this, so you want to source, then this nga.sh file, then you can load the module. So you use this source comment because probably this is related to the built-in comment. This nga.sh is not just simple executable file. So the way you do it is that you can do it in two different ways, but whichever one you want. So I just log out from Sol. So when you log into Sol cluster, initially you don't have any modules, you load it. So you either execute by source the scripts and codes and nga, then those two modules are loaded. This is one way. Another way to do it is to include this comment, source and ngsh, in your login script. So your login script is, in my case, is bash shell c, but this bash shell c execute dot bash underscore aliases. And this is the way I prefer. So what I do is that you can either include here after creating this file, or you can include it in this bash shell C file, which is always executed by the source code, by your login shell. So maybe you can have it here. So I want to borrow it from the my existing setup from the Agave cluster. So how do I do it in the Agave cluster? I actually don't have it here. Bash aliases. So, okay, I still have a chance. Anyway, so I want to borrow this thing, copy and paste into my Sol cluster. So something like this. Let's not do it here. So I want to do it in my bash aliases file. So I want to create another alias, something like this. So this time I want to define a new alias called use nga. And I source, execute this shell script. This time we located at my home directory and scripts and codes. And this time it's nga.sh. Then later it shows a message that ready to install and run nga. So I'm erasing using my key X nga. So let's see if it works. So I updated the bash aliases, which is called by bashlc. Then I need to source bashlc, or I just log out and log in. There are two ways to do it. So then, yeah, let's log out and let's log in one more time. Then how do I do this? So you can either source scripts, codes, and ngsh, just like I did, or now that I define this alias, you can just type use nga. And these modules are loaded. So, okay. So, and therefore in bashlc, you can just have use nga and you save and quit, you log out and log in. What's happening is that, okay, it's not known, okay, because I didn't, okay, so there is a mistake. So because I use this comment use underscore nga, which is defined inside this bash aliases, meaning that I need to do this later after I execute this bash underscore aliases. Let me log out and log in. Okay, it doesn't work either. Okay, I don't know why, but so bash aliases source gssh. Okay, maybe bash. Okay, so you do it manually if you want, or another way to do it is because you simply copy and paste this thing. Okay, so go to bashlc, then paste this statement, then log out, log in, and if you type module list, then these two modules are automatically loaded when you log in to the Sol cluster. Sorry about the rather hiccup. So let's log into the Sol cluster. I want to do it manually. I want to execute use ng every time I log in manually because I usually use more than one CFD code. So I have this alias for different codes, just like you have seen. So if I do it manually, then run nga, and I have this module. So then what's next? So I took care of this issue about the module. Then I want to install the leap. Took some time. So go back to your Bitbucket and go to, choose the leap repository. So and here you can see the, oh wait. So let's go to the leap repository. Again, the first thing you want to check is which branch you are in. In fact, for leap, there are a bunch of other branches. Which one you need to choose? For leap, you want to choose this development branch. So this is one you have to download. Okay, so let's try to do it. in the Soul cluster. So go to codes, and this time you install the prerequisite. Now you want to install lib here. Then you need to clone the repository. So you copy this line. You basically git cloning. So then let's go back to the Soul cluster, and you download it. So you are cloning the lib repository, which took no time. So let's go in to the lib. And what do I see? I see some codes, but you have to double check whether we downloaded the develop branch. Type git branch. Then you actually downloaded. I actually downloaded the master branch, which I don't want. I want to download the development branch. Okay, there. I want to use this one, but the Git chooses the default branch. There are multiple ways to address this issue. Let's go up in the. So I want to erase it because this was I was just trying to demonstrate the mistake. So to download a particular branch, so you still copy and paste, but this time you need to have. Actually, I forgot. So I already Googled it. So Google like a Git branch download specific branch. You can just use the different keywords. And the one I use is this. So if you want to download a specific branch from a GitHub, a Git project, so you need to have this thing. So you have 2 dashes and you branch and you specify the branch name. Okay, everything else is the same. So let me do this. So you have a 2 dashes branch, and branch name is here. Branch name is develop. Then try to download the lib. Then I do have lib. Let's go in, and its branch name is develop. So this is what I want. So do not download the master branch. You want to download the development branch. Okay? So I downloaded the develop branch. So what's next? So to learn what we need to do, you first want to check the README file. And this README file contains some of the introduction about what the LEAP library is. This is the Dr. Kaspawi's the library. Then it has a bunch of the capabilities and how do I compile this. And you need some prerequisites, some of which we already installed. Okay, and we need to go to the wiki page for instruction how to compile the code. So let's go to the wiki page. There is some documentation, but by the way, this documentation may not have to be done. Okay, we can skip the documentation. How do I go to wiki? It usually shows up on the left-hand side, but because my screen is small, it's actually here. You have to scroll down all the way to the bottom and see wiki. And there are some steps. The first thing I want to do is to configuring a makefile.in. This is the input file for the program called the make. So how do I configure? So there's an instruction about how to configure this makefile in the Soul cluster. The thing you need to do is to create this file called the makefile.in. Let's copy this thing, and you need to create this file in a place where the lib source code is located, SLC for the source code. Let me go to this place. Go to this directory, SLC. So this is the repository lib, and I need to go into this SLC directory. Go to SLC, and I have this make file, but I want to create this makefile.in. This is in for the input file. Editor. Then what kind of contents do I have to have in this makefile.in? I simply need to copy and paste everything here. So from here, for Soul cluster with the GNU compilers, and you need to copy and paste everything here in this the gray area. You simply copy and paste into this, but you need to press the I button, I key first, so that you can do the switch to the input mode, insert mode. You see that there's insert, paste, Command V. Then this is not everything because you need to go over this thing. So there is some instruction, MPI forward. These are the compiler and the wrapper, but you need to change one thing. That's because this input file is only for the Professor Kasbawi. So you need to change this mkasbau. So press the escape / and kasbau. You can see it and press the N key so that you can go to the next the appearance of this this work. So you can see that there are many. You need to change everything. How to change everything? Follow my instruction. Press escape colon %s / and you copy and paste this mkasbau by replace it by your ASU Write account. That's JKim520 is mine. Use your ASU Write the ID, and you want to have a /G for so that you can change everything globally. So then you can see that everything has changed. Okay, I believe this is everything, and press the escape colon WQ. So did I do everything right? I want to cat everything. I want to see everything in the makefile.in. So maybe I can grab one of these Hypri directory, copy, and I want to check if this directory exists. It does exist, so I'm good. Okay. So I reconfigured the makefile.in. So I configured the makefile.in. I want to go back, and what's next? I want to compile the code. So this compilation can be done only if you have this makefile.in. So you don't have to edit the makefile because this has the this depends on the input parameter that you specify in the makefile.in. And how do I compile? This is a wiki page of the lib. In fact, there is some instruction about how to compile the third-party libraries, which I talked about in the previous video. So you remember this build configure, build third-party, and looks like there is an instruction about this thing, but which we already went over. So then how do I compile the lib? There are two instructions. So make debug and make opt. So make debug, do this only if you are debugging the lib library. Because you're a user, it's you don't have to do this make debug. You need to do the make opt. So how do I do this? Go to the lib source code directory, SLC, which I am right now. Then I create the makefile.in. Then you simply copy and type the make opt. But before you do this, check if you have a compiler and wrapper, because I already executed the use nga. Then you compile the code, this lib library, by typing make opt. Okay, and you wait. If error comes up and your compilation will stop, you can ignore warnings, no matter how many they are. So you see that the MPI wrapper is compiling the code. Then if I don't see any error, I'll be good to go to the NGA code. Again, make sure to download the develop branch. Do not just develop the master branch, but because it won't work in the Sol cluster. And make sure to load a compiler in MPI wrapper and correctly the modify makefile.in. It looks like I don't have any error. How do I know that I don't have error? How do I know this? So go up in the directory, cd 2 dots, and check the bin or lib. We have something. So So we have built this leap library. If the extension is A, this is so-called a static library in Linux, and it has to start with lib. It has to end with A, and leap is the name in between is the library name. So I will successfully compile the leap. So I'll see you in the next video.